Now, individual errors and a last 8 exit from the Europa League. Erik Ten Hag has called Manchester United's performance in their 3-0 defeat away at Sevilla unacceptable.
David De Gea and Harry Maguire's mistakes contributed to a convincing defeat for United, and it left Ten Hag questioning his side's character.
We have to be better, and it's not about playing skills. No, it is about character. And so be composed and desire and passion. And they had more willingness to win, and it can't be. And I think it's unacceptable. We have to face that we let ourselves down, we let the fans down. And if you want to win trophies, if you want to be successful, you need other character.
All right, so obviously not a very good night for Manchester United. Let's get more on this right now and cross live to Seville, where our reporter Damesh Chef is waiting to talk to us, and he's got a friend with him. Damesh, take it away.
Yeah, Matt, thank you very much. Good morning from Seville. A little bit more cloudy now. The sun's gone in. The sun's disappeared on Manchester United's Europa League campaign. It's all quiet here as well. 15 hours ago, the Sevilla bus was coming through past the stadium, and it was bedlam outside here. It was a cauldron inside the stadium as well. One man who watched it all unfold was Andy Mitten, football journalist and editor of United We Stand. Andy, a few hours on, can you actually comprehend what happened last night?
I'm trying to, but it's difficult because it was such a disappointing night for Manchester United. Right from the start, United just didn't turn up. And you mentioned the bus. I think you've got to credit Sevilla fans. They were fantastic. That was the best atmosphere I've seen in football this season. I've been to 70 or 80 games this season. The whole stadium was behind their team. Clearly, the late goals at Old Trafford lifted them a lot. They welcomed the team in. The manager referenced that after the game. And Manchester United start badly. And when that happens, and that's happened a lot this season, there's often very little way back from it. United started badly and got worse. Clearly the team's missing players, but it was an awful performance from Manchester United, and such a disappointment because this would have been a tournament well worth winning. When Arsenal went out recently, I thought Manchester United are clear favourites to win this tournament. Not now.
You said United played badly, that's one thing, but Erik Ten Hag said that Sevilla's will and desire was bigger than United's. That just can't happen, can it?
As well as crediting Sevilla fans, credit their players, their mentality to chase every ball down, to press and harry Manchester United was also clear from the start. That's how they scored the first goal. They capitalised on a mistake and a poor ball from David De Gea to Harry Maguire, and he had 3 players around him, and it was finished and they were ahead. And I still felt United could respond, but there was no response. There were tame shots on goals, there were weak attacks. The substitutes didn't make much of a difference at all, and then it became more comical in the second half. And all along the fans were responding to their team. They've won this competition 6 times. I just wonder whether something else is at work. They're so good at it that you think is a sort of destiny at play here. Sevilla have had a poor season and they could win this tournament yet again.
Erik Ten Hag says that Manchester United always bounce back from disappointments. Now, this season, he's got a point. Statistically, they haven't actually lost back-to-back games. Some people will be surprised since the opening 2 games of the season. But up next, it's Wembley and it's Brighton. Is this the one that you worry about now?
I'm worried, and I'm an optimist. And he's right, the team have bounced back and often gone on big winning runs. That trend is fading a little bit now. There's been more defeats in recent weeks, and whether that's an accumulation of the season with injuries. And clearly, if you're missing players of the quality of Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez, Bruno Fernandes, and Marcus Rashford's coming off the bench, that is a significantly weaker Manchester United side. But there were still some top players out there. Brighton on Sunday, I'm not optimistic. I'll be going to Wembley. Brighton are fantastic, and they're getting better. And they've had some excellent results against Manchester United, not just in Sussex, but at Old Trafford this season as well. So, big game. United fans are still excited to be going to Wembley because it's been such a long time. Could I say that Brighton are favourites? Probably.
Interesting. Paul Scholes said last night that one of the big positives or any positive to come out of the game was that Erik Ten Hag will know some of the players that he doesn't want there next season. Do you think he will have learned anything new about who he wants and who he doesn't want next season purely on last night?
It probably reaffirms what he already knows. I think you've got to say it's still Ten Hag's first season. If Manchester United were to finish fourth in the top four and win a trophy, which a trophy's already been won, then it would be a successful season, given how bad Manchester United were going into this season. But it's clear that some of those players are not going to improve Manchester United. So I think another transfer window, maybe even another 2 or 3 transfer windows, to be fair to Erik Ten Hag, should get him closer to the team that he wants. But some of them players look very, very average. The fans are all talking about the same players.
Yeah, and the fans will say, oh, we need to get rid of X, Y and Z and bring in X, Y and Z. But that's easier said than done, because players are on long-term contracts. Players are going to cost big money in the summer. Would you urge that the United fans just have to be a little bit patient, because it doesn't just happen in one transfer window?
I think a lot of fans are patient. 3,000 travelling fans here. I think reality in real life at games is very different to what you see on the internet. If you listen to fans on the internet, Manchester United, or indeed any football club, would have no players left within 1 month because they would all be sold. Marcus Rashford would have been sold from Manchester United, and that wouldn't have been a good idea, in my opinion. The dust will settle from tonight. A win against Brighton would lift everything. There's a huge Premier League game against Tottenham next week. Avoid defeating that and Manchester United start looking very good. And number 9, a goal scorer, is a priority for Manchester United. There are not many of them about, but this team is not scoring enough goals. And a continuation of the progress, because there has been progress this season. There's been some fantastic victories at Old Trafford against top teams. Manchester United's problem is away from home against the best teams. The form is terrible. But that's an accurate marker of where Manchester United are at. And I spoke to Erik Ten Hag after the game. I said, why are the teams so convincing at home and so unconvincing away against good teams? And Sevilla are a good team. And how can he answer that? He said, we need to get more consistent, obviously.
Just finally, Andy, you alluded to it there in a previous answer, but when you go back to the start of the season and you saw firsthand the mess that United were in last season, what would constitute a success come the end of the season? Is it what you said, top 4 and a trophy? Would you satisfied?
Yeah, beating Manchester City in the FA Cup final with a last-minute header as David De Gea runs forward and greets a corner. That would be a satisfying end to the season, because it's not going to be in Budapest now for the Europa League final. I said it, a top 4 finish would be progress. A trophy, a first trophy since 2017. That was won against Newcastle at Wembley. But when you're in the mix of it, you sort of think an FA Cup and keep pushing and pushing. I think the players have got to keep pushing as well. Every game is like a cup final, and Ten Hag has relayed that to his players. It's been a very demanding season. There's been a lot more games than normal. You've had the break for the World Cup. You've had some key injuries now at a key juncture in the season. It would be a real shame if United just faded like they did last season.
Andy, thanks for your time. So a cup treble was a dream for Manchester United. That's been shattered by Sevilla. It's 5 meetings now with Sevilla, and Manchester United still cannot manage to beat them. But no time to rest and no time to feel sorry for themselves, because it's Brighton in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley on Sunday. Erik Ten Hag says his team always bounce back. He'll want a response then.
Sure he will. Cheers, Darmesh, and thanks, Andy, as well.